Okay, so this is part 2 of the revision questions video. So we stopped at question 11. Okay, this question asks us to find the difference in the length of CD and CA. Okay, you'll notice that we have two angles here, and we're also given a side. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the trig ratios. Okay, how do we know which trig ratio to use though? What I'm going to do, I'm going to find CD first, and we have to figure out which one of the three basic trig ratios we should use. So it's between sine, cosine, and tan. Alright, so which trig ratio you use depends on the two sides that you're given. Okay, now this triangle, we're given this side, and we're asked to find CD and CA. So if I want to find CA, sorry, this should have been CA. Right, if we want to find CA, CA would be this side, and the 150 centimeters would be here. Now, this side would be our opposite side because the angle is here and this side is opposite from the angle. CA would be the adjacent side. So which trig ratio has the opposite and adjacent sides? That would be the trig ratio tangent, sorry. So we would have to use tan. Okay, so I'm going to write the trig ratio for tan. So tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent sorry about that, is equal to opposite over adjacent Okay, sorry about the interruption. Right, as I was saying, it's equal to opposite over adjacent. You're going to substitute the information from your diagram. Okay, the adjacent side would be CA. So the opposite would be 150, as I said. Tan theta would be. So remember, theta represents the angle. So the angle that we would write. Okay, notice that we're focusing on the larger triangle here. So I'm going to outline the larger triangle. And the angle for the larger triangle would be the 45-degree angle. So that is why I'm going to put 45 degrees and not 60. So 60 degrees would be the angle for the smaller triangle. All right, once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and solve to get our value for CA. So how do we do that? There's a shortcut method for doing that. Whenever your unknown side or the side that you want to find is in the denominator, this is what you're going to do. Okay, so how do we get the value for CA right away? You're going to divide the known side, which is 150, by sine or cosine or tan of your angle. So it's going to become 150 over tan 45 degrees. Okay, so if you put tan 45 in your calculator, you should get 1. And remember, when you're doing this part, you have to ensure that your calculator is in degrees. So I explained in part 1 how you would do that. All right, so it's going to be 150 over 1, which would give you 150. Okay, the units now, the units that you're going to put are going to come from the known side. So it's going to be, the unit rather that you put is going to come from the known side, which is meters. So I'm going to add meters to my distance for CA. All right, we're going to do the same thing to find CD. That should have been DA. Sorry, let me cross this out. DA. Okay, so you'll notice that there is a smaller triangle here. And I'm going to just outline the smaller triangle in purple. Alright, so the distance that is here, 150 meters, would be the same, but we want to find DA now. And the angle that is in the smaller triangle would be 60 degrees. So what trig ratio do we use? Again, we would have to use tan because the unknown side, or DA, would be the adjacent side and the known side is the opposite side. So the trig ratio that has opposite and adjacent would be tan. Okay, after we do that, we're going to go ahead. We already know what tan theta is, so we're just going to go ahead and substitute our information. So remember, it's not tan 45 because we're working with the smaller triangle. It would have to be tan 60 degrees. Okay, so tan 60 degrees is equal to, the opposite is still 150 over, the adjacent side is DA this time. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to find out the value for DA. That means we need to solve for DA. And the shortcut method for doing that, whenever your unknown side or the side that you want to find is in the denominator, you're just going to divide the known side by either sine or cos or tan of the angle. So in this case, it would be tan, so it's going to be tan 60 degrees. Alright, so I'm going to find tan 60. And that is going to give us 1.73 to 2 decimal places. Alright, like I said in the previous video, don't write out all of the numbers or the digits behind the decimal point. Just round it to say maybe 1 or 2 or 3 decimal places. Alright, so our final answer for this is going to be I got 86.7 to 1 decimal place. And remember, the units that you use must come from the known side, so it's going to be meters. Alright, but we're still not finished. It asks us to find the difference in length between DA, there should have been DA, and CA. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to subtract. So CA we said was 150 meters minus DA. So it's going to be 150 minus 86.7. So I'm going to add the correct units in my final answer. And that is going to give us, I got 63.3. So I'm going to add the correct units to my final answer. And that would be meters again.